You just wrecked.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Wednesday. Hope you're having an awesome day. Welcome back to the channel. If we have a look at what's going on, Bitcoin is up over 4% today. We're trying to get above that $10,000 level. Will we do it? Well, I'm going to get into that in just a second. Yesterday, I said we were looking for a massive Bitcoin move. Is this 4% the move that we were looking for? Well, I definitely think Bitcoin has a lot more in it. You can see, though, we did pump up over here to over 10,000, but that was on Bybit. We didn't actually hit it on the spot markets, but I want to talk about Bitcoin, where we're headed short term. I also want to talk about the fact that the Fed is meeting today to discuss rate cuts, okay? So how is that going to affect Bitcoin? Bitcoin's never been around for something like that yet. Also, we have some people out there saying that we're going to go down to $4,000. That's right, $4,000 Bitcoin. You know that I don't think we're going that low, but I want to talk about that, and also the fact that the US is still unfortunately lagging behind, and the more we continue to make it difficult for US citizens, the more we are going to see innovation move to other places that are more friendly. And finally, the conspiracy of the day is our central banks hoarding Bitcoin. We're going to get into all of that today. If that sounds good to you, well, you know what to do. Also, if it's your first time checking out the Crypto Zombie channel and you are not subscribed yet, well, you are certainly missing out. Definitely get subscribed, turn on the bell notification, join the Telegram. It's absolutely free. And yes, every Monday we give away a Ledger Nano S absolutely for free. All you got to do is comment on any video. Now, having a look at this right now, Bitcoin dominance is up 0.2% since yesterday. So all eyes are on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is leading the pack today. We do have some close runner-ups, though. Litecoin's actually doing quite well at 5.55%. Bitcoin Cash as well. Having a look at some of these big gainers, Tezos, big news came out, right? We talked about that. GX Chain, Bitcoin Diamond, XMAX, Nash again, Nexo, Golem, and Zilliqa recently just came out and said they were integrating with Chainlink. So it's not a bad day for the altcoins today. Having a look at the Fear and Greed Index, we are up from yesterday from 22 to 31. So we're starting to get a little more greedy, starting to get a little more comfortable, right? Having a look over here, you're noticing strong buys on 3 out of the 4 exchanges over here on Coin Farm, and the longs are up to 53%. So today is a very bullish day. A lot of people are anticipating higher prices, whereas, the past few weeks we've been looking at lower lows. Now, does this mean that we're not going to go lower? Well, no, we're not exactly out of the woods just yet. We're going to get into that in just a second. However, unfortunately, we did have 22.4 million shorts liquidated, so what are you going to do, guys? What are you going to do? It's a crazy market out there. So here's the situation we're looking at, right? We have this downwards channel that we were basically putting in 2 points of contact up here, 3 points of contact down here. We also have this purple wedge that was forming. We were looking to break out. We had our breakout, but we were literally held down by this middle line in the downwards trend of resistance. Now you can see that we've sort of put in some, like for example, down here, we wicked to it. You can see we had support here. Here it became resistance. So it's been flipping back and forth between resistance and support for quite some time. Currently today, it is acting as resistance. So if we can't get above this sort of $10,130 level relatively soon, then we could see Bitcoin going even lower, maybe moving into this giant wedge. We might even go sideways a little bit more, potentially to August 4th, August 14th. But if we are rejected, okay, and we're rejected hard, then like I said, Bitcoin could see that dump down to that $8,300 level. And currently, we're still in like that no man's land, right? We want to see confirmation either to the upside or to the downside. And today, it's really just showing us that Bitcoin is still somewhat confused as to what it's trying to do. You can see right here over on the EMA ribbon, we're inside of it, but just barely. And currently, we need to get above that to really become short-term bullish. Now, we are a lot more in the ribbon if we look at the futures chart, but that's because the Bitcoin futures chart went all the way up to 4,200. This is over at CME futures, right? We didn't actually go that high on the spot chart. So that's why these two charts are a little bit different. But if you are still looking at that $8,500 level to close out the gap, that is very possible considering a lot of us are looking at the $8,300 level short term. Interestingly enough, you do see a lot of people talking about death crosses and golden crosses, right? Well, in reality, there's so many different moving averages. You could eventually just find two of them that are crossing, and they're doing what you want to do to paint the picture. For example, we have the 50 and the 21, they just had a little bit of a death cross, but should we be worried about it? Well, interestingly enough, the 21 did act as our resistance, but for example, if I was to switch this to the weekly, look, totally different story, right? Looks perfectly fine. In fact, this is what a lot of people are looking at. They're looking at this level, the $8,300 level, where we have the 21 exponential, pretty much has supported us. And I'm not going to go over this again. I went over this pretty much for the past 2 to 3 days now about how the 21 exponential has been supporting us the whole time during the 2017 bull market. As soon as we went into the bear market, we went below it. And yeah, so currently I do believe we're in a bull trend. I do believe that we're still going up. I think this is healthy correction. And once again, just for anyone that might be new to the channel, 40% pullbacks are very common in bear markets. If we were to come down to this level, currently an 8,300 would be around that 39-40% give or take. Okay. So that is what we are looking at. One other thing I wanted to talk about, looking at these fib levels. Now, I basically made this chart the same way that everyone else is doing it, right? I took the same points that everyone else is looking at. That way we're all looking at the same chart. But I'm going to show you something that's kind of interesting here. If we actually move this up just a little bit right here, you'll actually notice that Bitcoin is playing perfectly between these levels. I mean, look, we wicked down perfectly to the 0.5 fib 2 times, okay, and that was around that $9,000 level, and we've had insane resistance around the $10,200 level. And if you want to take that a step further, even going back here, you notice that Bitcoin had a lot of resistance at the 0.618 at around 8,000, and it was able to hit resistance at 9,124, or the same level that we were looking at, 9,000 roughly. So I think that's interesting. So not saying that we're not looking at the wrong levels, but it's interesting how it really just lines up when you put it this way. But the one thing that I want to point out is regardless of prices going up and down, everybody's always trying to get the best deal. Everybody's trying to get the absolute bottom. You want to get the best bang for your buck. Well, let's be honest. Nobody actually knows what the, current bottom is going to be in this trend, right? We may not close the CME futures gap, right? So for everyone sitting on the sideline right now, I just wanted to point out what Josh Rager said. With lack of major volatility, things are quiet. Well, today there's a little bit of action going on, but he says it reminds me when we were under 4K, not near as quiet, but these are the times where I set targets on Bitcoin and maybe a few altcoins. Months from now, people will wish that they would have taken more action during the slow price movement. And I agree with him 100%. In fact, going back to the chart right here, let me actually just get rid of this. I personally think that this zone right here, this up and down, has been an really, really good accumulation range, especially right here, right between this sort of $9,000 to almost $11,000 range. I think anywhere in that area was a really, really great time to accumulate Bitcoin. Kind of like anywhere between this sort of $7,000 to $9,000 range was a great time to accumulate Bitcoin as well, because, hindsight is 20/20, but let's be real. We're not going to stay at these levels forever, right? So I just wanted to point that out. And if you do believe that we are entering the reaccumulation phase, which I personally do think we are very, very, very close, if not almost there right now, then, you can see right here, we're entering a moment of potential sideways accumulation, and you don't usually drop lower than, where you've been in this expansion stage, which I'm saying it's around $10,000 once we do complete the cycle. That's why my video 2 days ago said that once we do, put in this new next not all-time high, but we put in a higher high, or at least get higher than that second lower high that we had, then I do think we're entering this period. So, but you may have a different opinion. For example, this is what I wanted to entertain because, hey, we could be going down to $4,000. Do I think that? Not at all. But this is from Alessio Rustani. Now, you may be familiar with him. He has a YouTube channel. He does traditional, analysis as well as crypto. But looking right here, he basically says that confirmation bias is misleading crypto investors to the extent that the majority of traders are in disbelief, and we won't accept the fact that Bitcoin can go lower than $6,000. Now, that would be an incredible, incredible pullback considering, but let's just look at this. So you can watch the YouTube video, he has it, but they broke it down right here. So currently the general consensus among traders is that Bitcoin will correct to around 8,500 to 8,000. We pretty much have that agreement as well, right? So that's the zone. So basically then everyone is saying we're going to rally back up to 20K, 30K. As he says right here, he's got his little, whatever you want to call them, waves. So he says Bitcoin's current correction could be in the process of completing a wave B and then going all the way down to a wave C, which would take us, are you ready for this? As far down as possibly $1,800 to $1,600, which would be insane. We would literally wipe away everything that we've put in. We would go lower than 3,100. This is just crazy to me. I don't see the likelihood of this at all, but he's saying it's a possibility. But then he does say that we're going to rally all the way back up to 20K again. So it looks like either way he's bullish, but he's looking at really bad corrections, apparently. So he personally thinks that the most probable outcome is that over the coming days or weeks, Bitcoin will strongly bounce off the 21 EMA, which is what I just showed you guys, at around 7,500 to 8,000, which it's actually more around 8,300 on our charts, but okay. Before wrapping up his analysis, he proposed a wildcard scenario, which would see Bitcoin bounce strongly off 8,000 to 11,000, and then go up to 12, and then go all the way back down to 6,500 to 4,500. And then go all the way back up. So, I mean, yeah, that's possible too. In fact, when we were going back here and looking at this, I was saying if we were to come up all the way to this, now it's a little bit lower. It would be around 11,800, and then we kind of came sideways. Then we could actually dump down to these lower levels. That is possible. That's very, very possible. We haven't actually put in our third point of contact on the top trend. So I just wanted to point that out moving forward. But that is the situation if you think that we are going to be going a lot lower. But I do want to talk about some positives. We have total trading volumes for Grayscale has been increasing with 1.87 billion in June, up 48.1 since May. Also, not to mention the fact that Bitcoin is nearing its billionth dollar charged in transaction fees. So that's pretty awesome. They say that this should cross the threshold around this fall. Also, the Bitcoin network did more transaction volume. This is a day old, so this was on July 29th, than it had done for the first 6 days of 2019 combined. So this is showing that there are more active participants in the market. There is more consistent daily volume. The markets are, in fact, alive. The space is booming. And not to be a broken record, like Hodlnaut said, but Bitcoin once again has put in another all-time high for hash rate. So I would say that things are looking pretty good for Bitcoin, despite some people saying we may go down to 4,000 or 1,200 or whatever these crazy astronomical price predictions are. I mean, you could see over here, Joe, over at Squawk Box.
And Bitcoin.
Well, I'm not going to play it actually, but essentially he was over here talking about a $55,000 Bitcoin after the halving event, right? And they were almost kind of like chuckling and laughing at him, like, oh yeah, right. Interestingly enough, he actually dropped some knowledge on the stock to flow ratio, and as we can see right here, Bitcoin has continued to follow this, and it's been working since 2012. So yeah, I mean, numbers and charts don't lie, guys. So yeah, we are expecting 55,000, 43,000, 100,000, potentially even a $330,000 plus Bitcoin, maybe by the end of this cycle. It's not that crazy. I mean, I remember in December, we were talking about how we wouldn't see a $10,000 Bitcoin potentially for another 2 years. And here we are, literally just sitting right on the line. In fact, we put in another 10K on the futures this morning. So interestingly enough, talking about what Bobby Lee had said. Now, this is Charlie Lee's brother. He was reiterating on a tweet that he had put out December 7th. He said from then, the all-time high, and he's talking about the previous bull bear market that we had, you had a $12,000 Bitcoin in December of 2017. For the next 13 months, Bitcoin went down by over 87%. To bottom out at around $150 in January of 2015. Yes, Bitcoin was dead. Everyone was throwing in the towels saying that was it. Now, from December 2017 high, he says going down 87% would take us to 2,500, maybe bottom out in January of 2019. Well, we bottomed out in December at 3,100. So he wasn't that far off. He called for an 87. We actually fell 84. So if history repeats perfectly, then the current bear market for Bitcoin would bottom out at around 2,500. Next month, he got that wrong, but the next rally would start in 2020, peak out at 2021 at around 333,000, and then crash back down to $41,000 Bitcoin. So what do you guys think about even after the cycle ends, after the next 3 years, after Bitcoin crashes another 80+%, okay? We could still be looking at a low of Bitcoin at around $41,000 in 2023. I mean, think about that. One of the biggest things is people are always focused on the Bitcoin highs, but you need to focus on the Bitcoin lows because we don't usually stay in those high regions that long, right? So that's just something I wanted to point out moving forward. Also, today, this says tomorrow, but this tweet was from yesterday, Bitcoin will experience the first Fed rate cut in its history. Is this currently having an effect on why we're seeing Bitcoin pump today? Well, you can see that they are meeting today, and they're looking to cut it by about a quarter point. Yes, this has definitely affected their credibility. But yeah, I mean, Trump has been very vocal about this, so we'll have to see how this plays out. But yeah, this came out from JP Morgan Chase. Now, this is from Craig Cohen. This story is getting a lot of eyes. A lot of people are talking about this. And it's called, Is the Dollar's Exorbitant Privilege Coming to an End? Now, very long here. Lots of information. I'm not going to go into it because Bitcoinist was kind enough to summarize what was said. So basically, he said that changing habits among now keep in mind, this is, a JP Morgan Chase strategist, right? Jamie Dimon, right? So non-US central banks are creating a real sense of unease about the dollar's long-term status. So classically, the world's reserve currency. By the way, guys, if you want, just turn on headphones and just listen, because this is going to be some good information. So definitely stick around for this, right? I think this is really interesting. So they talk about the world's reserve currency being the dollar. They're saying that it is seeing a lot of competition from foreign powers, right? Even just gold alone, you've seen. Central banks across the globe are also adding to their gold reserves at their strongest pace on record. 2018 saw the strongest demand for gold from central banks since 1971. And a rolling 4-quarter sum of gold purchases is the strongest on record. So while JP Morgan predictably did not mention cryptocurrencies, obviously it's no surprise they didn't mention crypto, the comments underscore the increasing schism between the financial world and U.S. politicians, okay? Don't forget, Trump's trade war will further heighten the stakes, he added, suggesting that investors should even diversify away from USD, which begs the question, are central banks buying Bitcoin? A lot of people have surmised that this is what's going on in the background, right? We've even had sort of hunches that maybe Russia's been accumulating in the background too to circumvent these sanctions, right? Given the president and rising deficits in the U.S. in both fiscal and trade, Cohen goes on to say that he believes the U.S. dollar could become vulnerable to a loss of value relative to a more diversified baskets of currencies, including gold and, I would add, crypto, right? Multiple sources have forecast Bitcoin playing an incredibly vital role as reserve currency in the future years. Those forecasts have come in different styles, with suspicions already circulating that central banks have stockpiles, okay? And before we get into it, I want to give a shout out to Daily Hodl because I love this article, 5 reasons why Bitcoin will win, okay? Number 1, cash is not king. Paper money is quickly becoming outdated. Let's be honest. How many people out there are using PayPal or Venmo or Apple Pay or Google, right? I don't even keep cash in my wallet anymore. I don't need cash for anything. I just need my phone. That's all you need, right? So people are used to moving to we are moving towards a digital society. So why would it not be surprising to see us move towards cryptocurrencies? Also, centralized digital currencies are too risky. Do you really want to have Libra that may not like a suspicious transaction that you did and shut down your wallet? I mean, if you guys watched Martini Guy's video just the other day, PayPal not only locked up his funds for 180 days, but they basically are not letting him use PayPal right now. So he's getting his account shut down because he used it for cryptocurrencies. He wasn't doing anything illegal, and they're holding his funds in there, basically holding his funds hostage for 180 days. That's crazy, guys. No, I'm not going to use a centralized cryptocurrency like Libra. Then we have economic mobility and freedom. I don't think I have to go into this. I mean, obviously, it's borderless. You literally can't ban Bitcoin, right? Then they go in to say the Bitcoin brand. The market cap of Bitcoin is nearly $200 billion. An estimated 9% of Americans own Bitcoin, including 18% of Americans aged 18 to 34. And the preference rates compared to other assets are much higher and increasing. And then finally, the network effect. The reality is the more people that own Bitcoin, the more people that are invested in this space, the more people that are paying attention and having, opening accounts or opening wallets even, it's just going to create the network effect, right? You can have the greatest tech in the world, but if nobody uses it, right? This goes back to the argument of, I don't know if you guys remember VHS versus Betamax, right? Back in the day. I mean, Betamax was arguably superior, right? But VHS ended up becoming the go-to. Why? Well, it was because of the network effect, right? VHS is what Blockbuster decided to put on their shelves, right? So that's just basically something that I wanted to point out also moving forward. And if that doesn't kind of paint the picture, Here's a picture of, Steven Mnuchin and his wife proudly holding up a freshly printed page of dollar bills because, that's the answer. We just print more dollar bills. So, yeah, I think you kind of get where I'm going with this. Another thing I wanted to talk about, too, is this regulatory uncertainty and what is happening. In a new note to clients at Miller Tabak and Company, equity strategist Matt Millay says regulatory pressure on Bitcoin and crypto assets is unfortunately likely to continue. Republican Mike Crapo said he doubts the U.S. would be able to successfully implement a ban. Exactly. He says if the United States were to decide that they don't want cryptocurrency and tried to ban it, he says, I'm pretty confident we couldn't succeed in doing that because this is a global innovation, okay? That is exactly what I'm saying. And if you guys had an opportunity to check out the pomp over on Squawk Box, I just want to play a little bit of a clip right here, and I think this will help us sort of segue into the next section of the video.
The important part is that the countries that embrace this first are going to have a significant advantage moving forward. The game theory is that some country is going to embrace this in a very, very serious way, whether it's China, Russia, the United States, somewhere in Europe or South America, somebody's going to do it. And the first countries that does it are the first couple.
The advantage becomes what?
Because you can't stop it. Right. And so the second that a country starts to adopt it, every other country is going to end up playing catch up. Right. And so the countries that say, like, look at Singapore. Singapore's saying, look, bring it on. Right. We're going to provide rules. We're going to give you clarity. And we want these companies here. We want the innovation. We want the entrepreneurs to come in.
So basically what we're doing is essentially pushing out the innovation. And let me show you one more clip to show you exactly what I mean. Now, this is Circle's CEO, Jeremy Allaire. Now, he made a speech to Congress, if you guys had seen it, and he even mentioned that Circle themselves have moved to other places that are more friendly, more jurisdictions. And I want you guys to listen what he does have to say here. And yeah, if we don't get our priorities in order here and figure out what we're doing, then unfortunately, I am from the US and I don't want to see us fall behind, but we're going to if we don't progress with the technology and make our minds up sooner or later, right?
In the United States, regulatory uncertainty and the application of laws that do not contemplate digital assets has led to the loss of significant opportunity. The Securities and Exchange Commission, for example, is forced to apply federal laws written in the 20th century to technologies created in the 21st. This has had a material impact on the competitiveness of U.S. companies, with Asian-based companies beginning to dominate the market and is backward rather than forward-looking. Congress should consider new laws that protect consumers while not causing companies to fixate on nearly century-old definitions. The result of the uncertain and restrictive regulatory environment has led many digital asset projects and companies to domicile outside of the United States and to block U.S. persons and businesses from accessing products and technologies. In Circle's case, we have received a license under Bermuda's Forward-Looking Digital Asset Business Act, which provides a comprehensive regulatory framework for companies in the industry, and we are in the process of moving our international-facing products and services out of the United States. It is vital that we allow innovators room to grow in the United States. Congress should adopt national policies that define and establish digital assets as a new asset class, including appropriate rules and exemptions. Without a national policy framework for digital assets, I'm concerned that the United States will not be the world leader in this critical new technology, that it will continue to fall behind, and that it will not fully reap the benefits of economic transformation that digital assets will bring.
So as a U.S. citizen, this is pretty sad for me to watch. It really is. I mean, this is what's happening. These guys are moving to places that are more friendly. And yes, you are seeing a lot of these businesses saying, we don't want to serve U.S. customers because it's too complicated, right? We don't want to deal with this. Binance is creating Binance America. You come over here on IDEX. First, okay, I got right here, you can see New York State is blocked. They also recently blocked Washington State. And to make matters worse, now they're forcing you to sign up. So after August 23rd, no one's going to be able to use IDEX, which is supposed to be a decentralized exchange. Yeah, right. A decentralized exchange that has KYC. Looks like we failed on that one, didn't we? So yeah, this is exactly the problem, guys. So basically what I wanted to talk about today also is ViteX. Now, ViteX is another exchange that you can trade on. There is no, they do have, they have a geofence, okay, but let's be real, use a VPN, you'll be fine. So today I did want to talk about that, and I want to discuss how to trade on this, and I do want to give a massive shout out to the team at Vite for offering to sponsor this today. However, I thought it was a good opportunity to share this if you guys don't know how to trade on it, but also just to show you that there are options and you're never going to be able to ban Bitcoin. You're never going to be able to stop US citizens, okay? We're just going to have to find alternatives. And for example, this right here is a truly 100% decentralized exchange. So without further ado, I'm just going to hop into that. So there's two ways to access the ViteX Exchange, okay? First, you could just actually go to VITE's website, which is vite.org, go to products, scroll down to exchange, and here you go. You could click trade on ViteX now, or you could just go to vitex.net, okay? And then you can click here and start trading. But here's the thing, before you start trading on this DEX, you do need to download the VITE wallet. They have it available for iOS or Android. Now, the reason that it's mobile is because it's actually meant to be used sort of in conjunction with the desktop. You have to scan the QR code. So kind of imagine it's very similar to WeChat. It's sort of a way to verify that way, you'd have to have both your phone and, whatever you were trading on at that time in order to execute the trades. It's just another layer of security, right? So download the VITE wallet, set it up. You know how that goes with the different, mnemonic phrases, right? You know how to do that. Set up your wallet, and then when you're ready, come back to the exchange over here. Now, I do recommend going through each one of these. When you first get to the exchange, there are these pop-ups that are going to walk you through. You can see right here, how to open orders, participate in mining, experience more features like staking for quota, become a snapshot block producer, etc. So definitely read through all that before you start, okay? Another thing too is, as you can see right here, I have been notified that they do not support trading in certain territories, USA being one of them. However, considering that this is a decentralized exchange, it's really only a geo parameter, and all you need to do is download a VPN, and you can use this the same way that you can use, for example, Binance. Unfortunately, IDEX is currently, as we know, they're going to go through with KYC. So this is why a lot of people are going to be very interested in using platforms like this. So obviously you could just click understand, and you can see right here we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, VITE, and USD. Now, currently, there aren't too many tokens and coins to trade right now, but the reason being, this is a very new platform, and it literally just launched. I'm sure in time they are going to be adding a lot more as well. Also, don't forget that there are rewards for listing different types of coins and tokens on the ViteX Exchange, which I'm going to get into in just a second, but I just wanted to show you, basically, this is the deposit. But before we get into this, I need to explain to you exactly what it is and how it works. So there's two articles that I definitely suggest you guys read before even getting into this. The first one is VITE X101 Decentralized Exchange. This came out in around April 5th, and then we have an updated one that came out around July 19th. The reason I say to check these both out is because I think they both have really good information. So just to go over this super quick before we hop into it. Oh, and one other thing too. If you are unfamiliar with how to use DEXs and you've never even traded on one before, well, then I definitely suggest to watch my iDex tutorial, because there's a lot of similarities basically between these two, how to transfer in and out, deposit and withdraw, okay? So definitely check that out if you're not familiar. If you are familiar with how to trade on decentralized exchanges, then we're going to continue forward with the rest of this. So what I wanted to mention first, you can see right here, is that VITE is a truly decentralized exchange, okay? Now, some of these others out there claim to be decentralized, but they're really actually just a hybrid. You can see right here, their order book is fully open via API, which allows others to launch their own exchanges based on liquidity. Now, they do have a token, okay? They have the VITE token, and there also is a VX token that is going to be used on this. Now, the interesting thing about VX, as you can see here, is it had no private sale, public crowd sale, pre-mining, or a pre-sale. So basically, this is a very fair distribution. So VX can only be earned through mining, which means confirming transactions on ViteX. Holders of ViteX enjoy dividends from transaction fees and other income generated through ViteX. So it's very similar to what we've talked about with the BNB token for Binance, Nash token for Nash Exchange, right? You can see VX is the token related to ViteX. So users would hold this and enjoy dividends. VX can be understood as a utility token used on the ViteX platform with its own incentive model separate from the VITE chain. So if VITE is staked to obtain quotas, you can also earn VX as well. At present, most decentralized exchanges are subject to the performance of their own chain. Transactions are performed off-chain and results are shown on-chain. However, ViteX, as I said, is completely decentralized, 100%. The transaction matching engine is performed through smart contracts. Order combinations are all completed on-chain, so the order book is also stored on on-chain, thus achieving true decentralization. So I think what these guys are doing is pretty cool. This is sort of like what we've been looking for, right? Like a really, truly 100% decentralized exchange. You can see right here, it was developed by the official team. And yeah, as I said, there was no pre-sale. So you do need a minimum amount of VX that's required if you do want to receive dividends, if you want to receive a cut of basically all the transactions, and that's at least 10, which really isn't that many. So you can see users that stake a certain amount of VITE in order to facilitate quota for ViteX transactions are entitled to ViteX VIP, okay? And you will enjoy an additional 0.1% deduction of transaction fees. Also, just to mention, it's a DAG, so there are no fees for deposits or withdrawals, okay? So that's pretty cool. Now, moving on over to here, how I wanted to talk about how you can actually earn VX tokens, because I think this would probably interest most people. We will get into how to use the exchange, but I wanted to go over this first. I figure most of you know how to use an exchange at this point, but you can see right here, there's 5 ways you can get VX. You could, and they call it mining, although, you know, it's a very loose term, but essentially you can get it by trading. That's an easy one. Whenever you execute a trade, you'll get some VX. Pretty straightforward, right? You can also do staking. So the VITE public chain requires quota, okay, because they don't charge fees, right, to properly allocate the computing resources. So if you stake VITE, you can get VX. Also, market making. This isn't interesting, is mining as well. So for those of you out there that are interested in that, that could definitely be a good opportunity. Listing is also mining as well. Listing new trading pairs to mine VX. So that's something. And also referral links, right? You guys know you could just give a friend a referral link, they use it, and you'll get a percentage, right? You could look into all the difference down here too. They have everything broken down. Also, if you're interested in becoming a ViteX operator, you could see basically you could choose tokens that you want to list in your zone. You can list different trading pairs, customize the transaction fee for each trading pair. Interesting, right? Now, don't be greedy out there if you're being an operator, and also transfer their operator accounts to other parties. So that is pretty much the rundown. Now, getting back to the exchange itself, this is the deposit screen right here. So like I said, you would have to essentially move it into your wallet, right? So essentially what you'd want to do is go over here to deposit. Right? Now I have to scan this with my app. So I'm going to take my phone and scan it right now, okay? So you can't see this, but I am doing it right now. Scanning. Okay, so you see how that actually let me go in? Now, basically, you're going to go to deposit because you already have the funds on your VITE wallet, or you could just send them directly here as well. If you want to just go directly to receive, you can do that. You can see I have 0.2725 ETH. So basically, would go to deposit ETH. So I have 0.275 because we have to move it onto the DEX, right? Because we're trading on the DEX. We have to put our funds on there. And then once we're done, we have to take them back off onto our wallet, right? Because we're not dealing with a centralized exchange. So basically, I'm going to just deposit all. Why not, right? So I click deposit. Now I have to confirm it on my app. This is why you have to download the app. So I'm going to do that now. Confirm. I have to enter my password. All right. So operation is successful. And as you can see right here, now it says I have 0.2725 ETH available for trading, right? So let's trade. So let me go back to trading. Yes, I know. They don't allow US citizens. Okay, so basically you would go to, let's say, what do I want to do? ETH to, how about I buy some VITE? Why not, right? So buy some VITE, and you guys know how this goes. Basically, I'll put all of my Ether here. I will buy VITE, and let's see, I'll just buy it for whatever price. So I'll just buy it from this guy at this price. Buy VITE, boom. Please confirm the transaction on the wallet. Let me go back over here, confirm. Have to enter my password again. I know you guys can't see this, but I'm definitely doing it on the phone right now. And then there we go. Boom, order is requested. And yeah, so there's the buy order. It hasn't been filled currently. Yeah, because I set it too low. Damn it, I should have probably just bought it directly from, I'm so stupid, I put in a buy order. I wanted to show, anyway, guys, that's basically how it goes. So if my order does get filled, I should have just bought it directly from the asked. I don't know why I put in a lower order. I got confused. Anyway, guys, that's how it works. It's just like any other exchange. If you used any exchange, so I'm going to let my order sit there. Maybe it'll get filled. But if you're interested, essentially, that's how you would use this. And, long story short, just to show you anyway, actually, I'm going to cancel my order, but you guys know how orders work, right? I should have went up here. I'm just going to cancel it. As you can see, I have to confirm this once again on the app, but just assume that I bought it, guys. You've seen how exchanges work, right? I can't believe I just did that. Pretty funny. But yeah, so I'm going to take the ETH off now. All right, put my password in, and that's going to cancel it, right? Okay, so whatever. And then we can go back here, and yeah, they're showing you how to use this for some reason. And then if you want to withdraw, obviously you'd withdraw it back to your VITE wallet by, clicking withdraw the total amount. Remember, there's no fees. Withdraw. Obviously, I got to go back to my app over here, confirm once again, enter my password once again. Okay? And yeah, so just, kind of pretend that I had bought some VITE, although I didn't actually buy some VITE. And yeah, so that's basically how that goes, guys. That is how you use the ViteX Exchange. And if you are interested in learning how to do that, you definitely have to just download the wallet. There you go. It's back over here in my ViteX wallet, in my VITE wallet. There you go. There's the total, and that's it. And then from the wallet, you could send it to any other exchange you want. So that is basically how you use the ViteX in a nutshell. And like I said, it's a good the ViteX Exchange, and it's a good opportunity to get some VX tokens. So hope you found some value in that. There you guys go. So that being said, I want to say thank you so much for sticking it out. If you stuck it out all the way to the end of the video, you are a trooper. Thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate it. If you found any value out of this, feel free to hit the like button, drop me a comment below, join the Telegram group. Thank you so much once again for coming back to the channel. Also, don't forget, if you comment on any video, you do get a ledger. But that's it for me today. That is enough. It is a beautiful day today.